This is Jacky Joy, and you are listening to the hottest podcast around, The Statement Show, with Terry James and Zach Jacky.
From the Night Shift Crew Studios in the D.C. metro area, this is The Statement Show. I am your host, Terry James, along with my co-host, Zach Jacky. We're covering sports, technology, entertainment, news, and everything in between. The lights are on. It's Sunday, September 23rd. Welcome back to another episode of The Statement Show. I'm Terry James.
And I'm Zach Jacky, and we're the podcast that fits in no category.
That's right, Zach. Hey, man, I feel I need to throw a little disclaimer out there. If anyone is listening to the show with small children present, you might want to send them somewhere else. Because today, we have none other than adult film star Miss Jacky Joy.
That's right, Jacky Joy, a really cool interviewer. I mean, she's got a great personality. She just sounds like, the next door neighbor. People have this perception of adult film actresses, porn stars, however you want to put it. They have this misconception of how they are, and she was just really cool, and she puts you at ease the way she talks to you. She's just a fantastic interview. Nothing like I thought she'd be, to be honest with you. Like I said, everybody has this kind of misconception of what they're like. So what did you think, Terry?
Right. Let me tell you something. I thought that when we first began the interview, I was a little, you're like you said, you always have that, oh boy, what are we getting ourselves into? But it was real quick when she got on the phone and she just became almost literally one of the guys. You could just tell that she just didn't care. She just threw things out there. I was amazed at candid ability just to tell us exactly how she felt about everything. As a matter of fact, Zach, and I know you and I were talking about it off air, we were the ones that were a little concerned on how we wanted to talk with her.
Oh, exactly. we didn't want to bring something up and then have her snap at us. So you take it back a little bit and you want to see what the perception they're kind of holding to you as far as you just want to try to put them at ease and make sure they're okay with what you're asking. So she was fantastic, and we didn't get we wanted to ask her questions we didn't think everybody else would be asking her. We wanted to try to get some information that just everyday people want to know and kind of curious about, but maybe it's kind of too scared to ask or not. So we just kind of just went out there and asked her, and like I said, she was a fantastic interview.
Yeah, she was amazing. And real quick, actually, Zach, before we get into the interview with Jacky, I just kind of wanted to remind everyone that if you want the latest news on the podcast, remember to follow us on Twitter at Statement Show. And also don't forget to visit us on our website, thestatementshow.com. And as you know, this week was a prime example of why everyone needs to be following us on Twitter, because some guests we can line up, weeks, months in advance, but this happened to be one of those where it was like, well, I can do it tomorrow.
Exactly.
So.
The planets and the stars all aligned just at the right time, and it just kind of worked out this way. Next time, if everybody just follows us on Twitter at Statement Show, and you can find out, who's coming on and if you have any questions. So anyway, fantastic job. And she does tell you about her projects, how you can get a hold of her if you want like a live show or you want to see some of her shows and stuff that she's doing. She does mention it. We ready to get to it, James?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Here's the interview with Jacky Joy.
On the phone, we have adult film star Miss Jacky Joy. Good morning, Jacky. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, we called you a little early. You're up? You're ready to go?
Yeah, slowly. I'm drinking my coffee, so I'm trying to get myself back up and going.
Yeah, that's definitely true there. Hey, a lot of our listeners have definitely been quite quizzitive regarding yourself. So if you could, would you be able to just give us a little information about yourself? Maybe how old you are, where you're from, all that kind of good stuff?
Oh, yeah, sure. I was born and raised in Easton, Pennsylvania. Now I live in Philadelphia, the best city in the United States. And I'm 27 years old. I live with my 2 cats, and I do porn. That sums it up right there.
We saw on your Twitter page 2012 AVN nominee for Unsung Starlet of the Year. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, usually unsung starlet means, someone who hasn't been recognized for her, work in the industry or any industry for, however long that she's been in it. So I was kind of happy that I finally did it, or finally got it, because it's been like 8 years, and I never got a nomination or an AVN award or anything. I was happy to be nominated. I kind of felt like it was a little unfair, though, because some of the people that were on there did get nominated for things previous years for, like, other stuff, like girl, girl, boy, girl, whatever. So me and Sophie D were probably the two that really haven't been recognized for anything, but I didn't win. Neither did she. So, oh well.
Now, can I ask you, does an award like this command more respect in the industry?
I wouldn't say it makes more respect in the industry for that one, because I think, like, I guess Best New Starlet and Best Porn Star, whatever categories they have, are the ones that are recognized the most. I was just happy to be nominated, like, period. I was hoping to win it, but I didn't. Oh well, there's always this year.
And okay, what actually made you decide to get into the adult entertainment industry?
That's funny. I always get asked that question. I was at Penn State my first year, just got into college. You know, when everyone was actually using MySpace, a company from Philadelphia contacted me, and they're like, hey, you know, you're beautiful. Did you ever think about doing, you know, I guess, erotic videos? And I was like, no, but elaborate, because it sounds a shame. So they're like, would you be interested in doing a blowjob scene for a certain amount of money? And I kind of was just like, sure. I continue to do it then.
And that's the story, huh?
Yeah, that
Wow.
is. I did a couple more times with them, with a girl that I went to college with as well. And then I found out there was this whole porn career. So I was like, you know what? You know, I already did a couple videos. I can't turn back, so I might as well just go full force.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
So I noticed you say you get asked that question a lot, and what we try to do here is we try to ask you some questions that maybe, you know, not the most common questions that you're always getting. Do you look at this as like a jumping point? Do you see yourself going from the adult film industry into the mainstream movies? Are you trying to get into more, how do I put this, legitimatized movies, like big rating movies?
You know, I'd love to. I think it'd be really cool. You know, I know some people, like Brie Olson has tried, and then Sasha Grey has definitely, like, tried to jump over. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. I kind of, like, my idol is Lisa Ann, my favorite person, and I love her to death, and we both came from the same city, so it just kind of feels like we have a connection. So I kind of want to go down her path. You know, she's beautiful, 40 years old, and she's still doing porn and having a grand old time doing it. So I think that's what I want to do. I'm already 8 years into it, so might as well continue full force. And if something else opens up for me that's in the mainstream industry, you know, I'll definitely go for it. But for right now, I'm content. You know, I've been on some reality shows, stuff like that, but just having fun now.
So what type of reality shows?
Well, I did Playboy Foursome. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. And then I also did Jerseylicious, which is kind of like Jersey Shore, but for hairstylists.
Sure.
Yeah, I've actually heard of that show.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all, not to burst everyone's bubble, but, you know, Jerseylicious is so scripted. So I did that a couple times, and then I was like, okay, you know, I kind of don't want to do scripted reality shows anymore. So right now I'm kind of filming for my own pilot that I have a camera crew follow me around. So they're following me around completely to where they don't script anything. They just follow me everywhere I go, film everything, and then they edit what they like. And then we're going to send it to people and see who picks it up.
That's amazing. Good luck on that. That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, I have a crazy life, so I think it'd be funny.
Well, you definitely see a lot of people have reality TV shows right now. I mean, there's everything from Shark Tanks to people restoring items, and you have people out there like Tori Spelling, who's got her own reality show, and it seems like they have a reality show for almost everything. You don't really see one for, like, you know, an adult film star or a porn star. You don't really see anything like that to show, like, the other side of how they're maybe just normal people. Everybody kind of has this, you know, this look or feel that they just kind of put you in a category, and they don't look at you like you don't do anything like everybody else does. They just imagine you're this crazy person. Would you say that more down to earth than most people think that you are?
Oh, yeah. Everyone thinks, for some reason, I don't know why everyone thinks that I live in L.A., so no matter what I say, everyone thinks I'm living in L.A., you know, that's where every porn star is. But I live in Philly. I stayed in Philly, and I stayed in PA because it keeps me grounded and keeps me normal, like friends. I have my family here. I like to hang out, you know, stroll my cats in a stroller around Philly. I like to snowboard, you know, all the normal things that people think that I don't do. They think that I just live this celebrity life and nobody can touch me or talk to me, and that's not true. I like to chill and relax and be normal once in a while. Everyone has a reality show, and especially, I was just tweeting about it, this stupid Honey Boo Boo reality show.
Oh, God.
I want to, like, shoot myself. I watched it yesterday, and it's just about this fat family, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's definitely a train wreck you can't look away from. That's what I think is so hilarious about it, because I think she's one of those kids that came off the I don't know, what is it, Tierra for toddlers or something along that line. And I guess people just kind of liked that. It's kind of like that white trailer trash kind of feel for it, I guess.
That's why I like it, just because of that, because it's not like every reality show where it's like, oh, I do this, or there's beautiful girls, or yada, yada, yada. It's this ugly family with this ugly little kid. I was dying, sitting there the one time, and she sneezed, and all the snot came out her nose, and she just sat there for a good, 2 minutes, and I stared at it. I was like, are you kidding me?
Actually, I think I saw that clip last night myself. It is pretty disgusting. They just sat there staring at her for, it seemed like a good 40, 50 seconds with her sitting there.
She didn't even move.
Yeah, it was disgusting. And that was that's the entertainment factor of the show. That's the show right there. It's ridiculous. And
but great. The mom's like, I have so much crust, sometimes I have to wipe it off. I'm like, ew, okay, I'm done.
I definitely, I think you have a great shot at it. It's honestly, in a way, it's not really a unique idea, because if you think about it, one of the most highest rated reality shows on TV stems from a porn video, and Kim Kardashian. That's really where she got her that's where everybody knows her from. That's where she originally got her fame from, and that's all this is spun off from. It's really kind of increased the whole family status. There's some people might disagree. I think that's where she got her start. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, now she blew up to be freaking millionaire off of a stupid reality show. And her reality show is kind of pointless. It just follows her around, and she's not really famous for anything except maybe her sex tape or whatever she has going on.
And I always think it's funny. It's not ironic how that they fall in love with just happens to be, super uber rich. The size of your wallet, that decides whether, they're going to go out with you or not. It's funny. They're all going out with sports stars or super rich people. It just doesn't seem real in a way. There's something distant about it. Somebody real, I think, would really come across great.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to, that's why, the one people, I met them through Craigslist or whatever, and they were doing a thing called Love, Heartache, and something else, and it was an interview to interview different people, celebrity status, to regular people, to ask them, what they think about sex and love, a whole bunch of questions, but they're like, oh, you have an awesome life, you seem funny, you're a porn star, you seem like you have a normal life too, so let's film it, and let's not have it staged, because I hate that. I was like, listen, my life is crazy enough. I was like, I don't need to stage scenarios or anything. Just follow me and you'll see. And they did follow me the other night, last weekend, and all I remember is laying in my bed, really, really drunk and staring up, and this camera's in my face, and then I woke up the next day. So I can't imagine what they got on camera at all, because I just remember getting really drunk, and there was I just remember clips. I remember being outside in Philly, and two of my friends were in each other's faces screaming, and I'm trying to be the mediator. Then I remember being home, throwing up.
What can you tell us? I mean, you're in the beginning process. Basically, so they're following you around, and then they're going to shop it around to get somebody to try to pick it up. Is that basically how it works? So what's something about the reality shows most people don't know? Something you might want to share with us? Is there anything, like you said with the one show that you were on, there was some kind of scripting going on there. It's not exactly reality. It's kind of scripted reality, right?
Well, in every reality show, even if I'm not on it, that I've been to where my other friends have been on it too, it is scripted. What they try to do is they try to listen to the stories of what happened, like Jerseylicious, for example. They have Olivia and Tracy fighting all the time. That all happened previous to the show. So they hear all these stories, so they try to re-script it so that they start fighting again, or the beef that they have between each other, because Tracy and Olivia don't hate each other anymore. Mm-hmm. But on the show, they pretend they hate each other. And what they'll do is they'll put them in scenarios, and then, they'll get what they want to, get them to say what they want to say, and then if they want to change something, they'll stop and be like, okay, you know what, you should say this again, or, oh, that was really funny, so, let's elaborate on that. And it's kind of really?
So they basically script it so that they feel what people want to see, the controversy. So
yeah,
obviously.
Pretty much. And I when I was on Jerseylicious, they had me, they're like, oh, well, you're going to go on a date with the male guys on there, and they're like, well, he's already going to know about it, but it's going to pretend he doesn't know about it. Oh. So you're going to be at the family's house, and we're going to set it all up that you're at the family's house. So it was all, literally scripted. What we said to each other wasn't that scripted. Sometimes I would stop and be like, oh my God, that's so funny. Say that again to, like, get the cameras on you so you could repeat it. But I just thought it was stupid.
Speaking of that, I mean, you said at the beginning that you live with your 2 cats, so I'm taking you're not married or no boyfriend or nothing like that?
No, I have a boyfriend. I never bring him up. I think my cats are the most important thing.
Now, is he in the business along with you, or is he not in the business at all?
No, he's not in the business whatsoever. The past 6 years, I've had another boyfriend. Like, I just started dating him probably 5 months ago, but my previous boyfriend was a normal guy, too. I don't know. I find these normal guys that are okay with me being in the industry, and I don't know how I do it.
That's a really good point, because that was actually my next question for you. Do you find it difficult maintain a relationship with like you said, a normal guy versus, say, an industry guy? I mean, do they look at you at first and say, "Oh, ooh, I don't know about all this," once you tell them what you do, or I mean, are you dealing with pretty?
Well, I don't know. Okay, so I've been in the industry for 8 years. So my first year in the industry, I was dating, like I was in college, so I was getting my first boyfriend. I actually did do porn without him knowing, and then when he found out, he freaked out. He's like, "You're disgusting. I can't believe you did that." So I was like, okay, whatever. So he tried to make me quit the industry right away, and I was like, no, I'm making too much money for that, and I don't know where we're going, so peace. So, yeah, so when I found my other, my ex-boyfriend, who I dated for 6 years, at first, when we first met each other, he was in the front house, he was pretty much like, oh, this is cool, I'm talking to a porn star. Like, his whole goal was to fuck a porn star. And then I kind of, like, lured him in, date me. And then he pretty much was a very big supporter. So he became, like, he didn't want to go have sex with, like, other people and stuff. He just became very supportive and trying to help me further my career. He's like, well, if you're in this, he's like, let's make this full force. Let's get you out there. So I was like, okay, cool. Because he wasn't, like, one of those suitcase pimps like most girls have, or they're like, oh, go do porn and I take all your money. He made his own money. But my boyfriend now, he was friends with my ex-boyfriend, so when we first met, he already knew I was a porn star, obviously, so he was okay with it. He's just pretty much like, I know that's your career, I support you, that's what you do, that's how you make your money, and he's like, I think it's cool. So I found a guy that thinks it's okay.
Right. I mean, is it difficult for you, to have sex with someone outside of I mean, in other words, here you are at a shoot, you want to go home and your boyfriend wants to be with you. I mean, is it hard to decipher the two?
No, actually, I don't know. To me, when I do have sex in the industry, it's pretty much, it's become such a job and such like more like acting than being intimate. So when I go home, I generally like having sex at home because it's more intimate and you like the person, and so it's not really a big deal. So it doesn't matter when I have sex with somebody who's 14-inch dick in the industry. I still like coming home and having sex with my boyfriend.
I mean, it sounds like you're, obviously you feel like you've been asked a lot of questions in this area, and you sound like you're not so repressed. You have no problem with really talking about it openly as far as, you like to keep some things private, I would imagine. Do you feel like, as our country, period, we're just so sexually repressed, we make such a big deal of the littlest things that you get kind of a stigmata put towards you as far as what you do for a living? Do you ever feel like people kind of look down at you at some point?
Oh, yeah. All the time. I mean, it hasn't changed in the last 8 years that I've been doing it. I mean, I would say we're a little bit more open than what we were back in the day, but it still stinks because, I still have friends. Like, if you're my friend or you're my boyfriend or anything, like, they still get a lot of, I don't know, what do you call it, like, hate, too, because they're like, how can you be friends with a porn star?
Very judgmental.
Yeah, very judgmental. Especially, like, my ex-boyfriend's family was okay with it. Oh, yeah, that's great, she seems like a normal girl, whatever she does in her, as a job, we don't judge her. But, like, my current boyfriend, like, he automatically told me I was a porn star, so now they kind of have, like, they're kind of like, oh, she's a porn star, she does drugs, and, she has sex, and that's kind of, like, horrible, and I'm just like, so I still get it all the time, and it stinks, but, I kind of just learned to live with it and kind of just brush it off.
Well, how many years do you think you have in this industry before you think it's time to maybe hang up and try something different?
Well, like I said, I don't know. We fans 40. Yeah, I forgot, 13 years ago. So, I don't know. I feel like you could keep going as long as you want to, as long as you do it right to, manage it. And I think I've been doing it the right way because most girls who get in the industry, they're in for like a year or two. They do everything so quick and so fast. They get AVN awards and stuff like that, and then they disappear. But I don't want that. I just want to continue to do it. I kind of like what I'm doing. So I kind of know how to manage it and keep it going year after year.
An average month for you, is it something where you're doing 1 or 2 a month, or is this like a couple days a week, or how does this work when you get in the industry? How active are you in a month?
Well, to fly out to LA, usually I try to go out once a month or every other month, and I'll go out for like 10 days. Sometimes, I'll have like all 10 days booked, or, I'll do like 3 or 4 shoots. So I just try to keep it going where I have a scene or 2 scenes or 3 scenes coming out every like 2 or 3 months just to keep my popularity going. But my biggest thing is webcamming. That's what I do at home 24/7. It just seems like that's the new thing nowadays is webcamming because it's so easy. You just sit at home, you can have fun, do it yourself, and you make lots of money.
Okay. Do you want to tell everybody about your website where we can find you on this?
Yeah. Well, I do 2 of them. One is cam4.com, and I do that Tuesday and Thursdays, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's a free show for everybody. So anybody can log on and they can see it, and it's for free. Then I also do stream8.com, and I do that every day, usually between 7 p.m. until like midnight. And you can find me on there, and I do gold shows and stuff, so it's fun. I do that between Monday and Friday, or, I just mix it up. I can go on whenever I want to. I can go on at night, during the day, so it's kind of like you have to follow me on Twitter, see when I'm on.
Yeah, I saw, we put you on our Twitter account, and we saw you're pretty active on your Twitter account. You really do, you put a lot of tweets out there, and that's really nice because you keep in touch with your public, and it kind of gives that personal touch for everybody. You get back to them, and it kind of makes it feel like they know you a little bit, which is really nice. It's not such an impersonal thing.
Yeah, that's what I get a lot from my fans. They say they love it, they interact. That's what I try to do. I try to act normal. It's not like I'm always posting like a naked photo of myself. And that's all I do, and I barely talk to anybody. I like to keep in contact with all my fans and tell them where I'm going to be if I'm, like, hosting an event in Philly so they come hang out with me. I just did my birthday party probably 2 weeks ago, and I had, a whole bunch of fans come out, but they were kind of, surprised that they could actually come up and interact with me and talk to me and me actually be normal and not like, oh, you got to stay away from me and hanging out with my friends.
Do you ever feel like that maybe when somebody finds out that you're in the adult film industry, do they feel like, oh, she must be easy? Do you ever feel like they kind of make that I don't know how I want to
all the time.
Yeah, you really, they almost like you're a prostitute, don't realize that that's not what you're doing.
A lot. It comes from a lot of girls. It's just crazy how they think that, if I walk into a club, I remember when we used to live in Stroudsburg, PA, and at ESU, everyone knew who I was, just because it's a small town, so everyone figures out, oh, this is a porn star. So I'd walk into a club, and, these girls are, pulling their boyfriends away, thinking that, I'm going to have sex with your man. No, I'm coming in with my own boyfriend. I don't go around having sex with people. I'm dealing with it right now with my best friend who, her new boyfriend thinks that just because she hangs out with me, we're having some kind of, fuck fest at my house. We're having sex 24/7 and having threesomes, and me and her are dykes, and we do it with each other all the time. I'm like, dude, yes, we've had freaky moments and we've had fun and stuff like that, but she's my friend, and I like to do normal things like, hey, let's go to the mall, not like, hey, I'm going to go have sex with her.
Yeah, your life is not what people see in your movies. You're not going grocery store and asking for a pound of meat and then going in the back room and having sex with the guy. I mean,
yeah,
people have
this. Pizza.
Yeah, it's almost like that dissociation that people make with an actor. They see somebody, but they don't see that person. They see the person they're portraying on a movie, and they have a problem seeing the difference. So,
yeah, they forget. And it's usually always, obviously a lot of my fans realize that, but it's always these small people when they hear porn stars, they're like, oh my God, it's a freak, and they have sex all the time, and I'm just like, no. I like to do normal things. Thank you very much. And no, I'm not having sex with my best friend every day. Thank you.
One of the things I really wanted to ask is, what's something that you can tell us, without getting super personal, obviously, but what's something you can tell us you do that most people wouldn't expect from you, like a hobby or something along that line? What's something that you do in your spare time?
The one thing, like I said a couple times. I have a stroller for my cat. I like to walk throughout Philadelphia with my cats and strollers, and that's kind of fun to me. I even have leashes for them.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if being a porn star wasn't enough for some people, walking your cats around is going to do it too.
Yeah, you know what? People have apparently it's been on some radio stations too because people have noticed me, walking around. And I don't. It's not like I dress up with my hair extensions in and everything, so I look fabulous when I'm strolling these cats around because I think that would even draw more attention.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that to me is a hobby. I like doing that, and my cats are like my everything. I have clothes for them. I have little pink toenails for them. I shave them into lions. I do the whole work.
I have 4 cats myself. I just don't. I don't go that far, but
no.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, you don't get a pet to not if you're not into them. And obviously, I love my cats. They're all unique personalities, and in a way, it's like having your kids. You're going to take care of them the same way. You're going to treat them the same way. After a while, you start talking to them, like it's one of your kids. So it's obviously something. You're very close to your cats. You love your cats, and you take them out in public, obviously, but. The leash thing, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I have a Basset Hound, and he likes to go on Jeep rides, but I certainly wouldn't put him in a stroller and take him around the development. That's for sure.
but hey,
a little nuts.
To each his own. I think it's cool that you don't mind doing that. That's really a new thing. I've never really heard that before. But
yeah, people thought I was crazy. So,
Jackie, let me ask you a question. When you're on set, have they ever asked you to do something that you're just not comfortable with, or are you pretty just open to pretty much anything, or has there ever just this level of just no, I'm not going to do that?
Probably at the beginning when I first started in the industry, there was a lot of things that I wasn't really open to. I was really scared to have cum on my face. I was like, oh my God, this is acid. I've grown sexually ever since then for years. I've gained, more of a sex drive and, learned a lot of things about myself. So now you can't pretty much tell me anything that I won't do except for I refuse to anything up my butt. Nothing's going near my butt. Sorry.
I can't imagine.
How many times you ask?
I can't imagine, and this is just me personally speaking. I don't find anything about that fun at all. I can't see how that's fun for anybody. I guess some people were into that. Some women will tolerate it and even act like they love it because they think, I guess, they would advance them in certain areas. Have you ever gotten in an area or gotten onto a set where you just kind of got that vibe? You just don't like the area. You just don't like what's going on here, and you left, or does that ever really happen to you? Or do you deal with just reputable agencies?
Oh yeah, no. That thing, I would say at the beginning of my career, I would say there was a couple of times it was kind of iffy, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing? But I still did it. Nowadays, my agent's really good, and he won't put me in any scenarios that I don't agree with. I don't think there's ever been a time since then that I've ever said, oh, I want to get off set. I don't think I'm comfortable with this. If I do feel like there's something that I didn't agree with or there's, a disagreement, I always contact my agent and then he'll figure it out and resolve it. So not really, nobody has done anything to really, I've heard, bad things to other people, so I'm surprised that it hasn't happened to me, but no. Been pretty good.
My thing was, I guess when you said when you first started, getting back to when you first started, how long did it actually take for you to get comfortable with with the crew in the room while you were actually doing the filming and all?
To get comfortable with everybody in the room, it probably took a year. To get comfortable with everything that I was doing, being comfortable with getting cum on my face or eating it or them asking me to do stuff or being comfortable with my body, it probably took me a good 3 years to be completely you know what, I don't care anymore. I love it. I enjoy this. I love having cum on my face. Or I love this. Or I don't. So it's approximately 3 years.
Do you actually get to pick who you want to be with? I mean, in other words, if you're doing a film and this big, fat, sloppy, hairy guy comes in and do you have the ability to look at them and go, no, I'm not doing this? I mean, or is it just, I'm going to have to deal with it and do it?
Oh, well, nowadays I do. I can sit there and say, no, I'm not going to work with this person, but I do have a no list, so before anything ever happens, I'll never work with the people that are on my no list because they'll be like, oh, well, she doesn't work for that person, so you might as well get another person.
Oh, okay.
But I never really have anybody show up that's, ugly. Usually, nowadays, companies have certain guys that they use all the time, and you use them over and over again, so it's always usually the same guy. It's always, a small group of people that we use over and over again.
I'm thinking of two people right now, and these are guys who seem to have been around forever. Some guy named Peter North. You know who that is? Is he still active in the industry? North.
Yeah, he does sometimes. He sometimes does videos on his own, but he has his own empire, so he has his own videos, and he has his own people that he has other people shoot for him. So, but yeah, back in the day, I worked with him.
There's another guy I'm thinking of, but for some reason I can't think of his name. But I've actually seen him in a Charlie Sheen movie, like he did a bit part. He started out skinny, then he got real big, and I think I actually seen him on the Surreal Life that one time.
Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy. I don't know if you ever listen to Adam Carolla.
No.
He's very funny. He actually talks about Ron Jeremy, and he says, like, if you watch his videos from the beginning of his career all the way up to now, you can actually see him getting bigger. And it's like, you would think at some point somebody would have said something to him by now that maybe nobody really wants to watch him, but it's kind of
I don't even think he cares anymore. I think he's kind of, I'm rich and famous, so I don't even care if I'm overweight, sure. But I refuse to work with him no matter what, because it's just like...
He's been doing it a long time, yeah.
Yeah, it's too much. I mean, my friend had to work with him the one time, and he said he was nice. He was, like, the nicest person ever. You know, they had catering, they had everything on set. Like, it was just like he was, like, really, really famous. But she said the sex was just like, he's like a fat, hairy guy on top of you trying to have sex with you. I was like, no, can't do it.
I would imagine you'd be doing most of the work anyway, so.
Yeah, right? Well, I don't even want to know how it go. I don't want to think about him on top of me, or anyway.
Well, okay, that brings me to the next question. I've heard, I don't know the particulars, I don't even want to pretend like I know exactly what was going on, but I did hear something on the news about there was a scare, and actually shut the adult film industry down for a short period of time, while there was somebody who had, I guess he had been tested positive for AIDS. Did you hear about that?
That was probably a while ago.
Really?
There was one that was just recent, so, okay. But that wasn't AIDS, that was syphilis.
Oh, so, okay, all right. Like I said, I didn't know what the particulars were, but what do you think the difference between, say, 20, 30 years ago up till now is? I mean, how is the process today done to keep things safe for everybody?
Well, I would say, I kind of envy the people that back 30 years ago who did porn, because I think it was kind of safer for them because they did get tested, but it was a very small group of people. Mm-hmm. So it's like they always worked with each other, and it wasn't like you had anybody just coming into the industry and trying to be a porn star. Because nowadays, any girl can do it. They can just be like, you know what, I feel like being a porn star, and they come in, they get tested, and then they can start shooting. So I think it was a little bit safer back then. Nowadays, we do get tested. I would say I would like us to get tested a little bit more. Like me, for my personal reasons, I get tested before I go out to LA, but then I also get tested when I get back because I don't want to bring anything back to, my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And even if I'm not in the industry for, I don't know, like say I'm not working like a couple months, we still get tested anyhow. It's for my safety reasons. I just want to make sure I'm safe. And it just stinks because I don't think we're that safe because, you got girls who are escorting so they can go, and you got girls who are escorting without condoms, so you don't know what's going on with them, and they can get tested, and then after they get tested, go escort, and then you don't know if they are bringing something in. So that's the unsafe part. That's why I wish we kind of had condoms. So it would make everything a little bit better. But I know if we did start using condoms that, people would branch somewhere else, like overseas markets, to watch porn, and it would kind of hurt us a lot if we did that. So I kind of feel like we should have more testing, or something has to be done. But what happens is testing is so expensive. It's like, $160 to $200 each time you want to get tested. A panel test, so it's hard for porn girls to continue to get tested over and over and over again.
You would almost think that would be paid for by, the companies that are employing you to come and do work. You'd almost think that would be something that they would demand that be done.
They did start doing it. I can't remember, it's called the APHSS or whatever the thing is called, where you kind of can get, for the next 2 months now, you can kind of get refunded for getting tested so much because of the syphilis scare. Everyone had to go get tested, and then a lot of them actually had to go get medicine. Even if they tested negative, everyone had to get medicine. I was like, that's stupid. Like, you're going to inject me with medicine that I don't need if I come up negative. Okay, cool. I didn't do that. What happened is I waited it out, and then finally they came up with a test that was take it, and 14 days later you take another test again, and if both came out negative, you're perfectly fine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was happy I didn't have to take the medicine, but a lot of the people that were in LA, if they wanted to continue to work, they had to take the penicillin shot, and then they had to wait 90 days to work. And I was like, and a lot of people got sick off of it. I was like, well, duh. Like, you're injecting people with medicine that even if they come up negative, they don't need.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, it's strong medicine. You're getting injected in the ass, so.
It's like that, the flu shot.
Yeah.
I barely ever get the flu. The one year I did get it really bad was the year I got the flu shot. There's irony there. But.
Yeah, it's things, you get things like that. I mean, the syphilis scare, I thought it was kind of a horrible thing that happened. I mean, the person who decided to alter his test, and this person who's been in the industry for like 20 years, so you would think he would know better, and he ended up getting syphilis and then taking his test through talent testing and altering it by, apparently like he flipped over the syphilis thing and then recopied it and then printed it out so it looked like he didn't have syphilis. And I'm just like, you're
putting everybody at risk. Yeah.
I think someone should be punished for that. I think something should be done because, yeah, you're putting everyone at risk, like, especially with AIDS. Like, I think this was like a year ago when someone had AIDS, and he continued to work. And it's like, you're giving people AIDS. Like, that's horrible. Like, you're giving people something to die. Syphilis, okay, it's curable. Cool. But, like, you're giving AIDS to people, and apparently, like, 2 other girls got it, and it's like, nobody gets punished for it.
Yeah, that almost doesn't seem right. You're basically killing people. And knowing that you're doing it seems a premeditated action. You would think somebody could press charges over that.
Yeah, I would, but, I would definitely go after the person. I'd be really mad.
Sure. Now, I'm not going to ask, as far as how much money you make, but the average person that would come in, or even say like someone that was just beginning their filming career, what do they normally start off at versus, say, like the top level, like the Jenna Jamesons that kind of got...
Yeah, you got to figure how many girls go into the adult industry thinking, I'm going to be rich,
Right.
Obviously, that can't be the truth. I mean, there's so many people doing it. It just can't be the truth. So, I mean, could you give us a general idea?
Okay, well, usually, I mean, like I said, 8 years ago, the industry was, like, the best ever. So I was making, like, so much money. Nowadays, with the economy being horrible and there's so much piracy, it has gone down a lot for just regular industry girls that have been in the industry for, like, ever. I would say girls who come in the industry are, unless they're naive...
No pun intended, I take it.
Yeah. Unless they're, your mind is in the gutter. Come on now. Unless you're naive and stupid and you go with, like, a bullshit agent who, will get you stupid rates for, like, $600, boy, girl. There are people out there that do that. There are girls that will do that just because they need money right away. But a standard industry rate when girls come in, they're pretty much at the same level as regular girls who've been in the industry forever. I would say, like, Asa Kira or Lisa Ann are, like, way above just because of who they are right now. They're, like, famous for what they do. So they're making a lot more. They're able to charge a lot more just because they've been in the industry. And, Asa, she's, I knew her since the day she started, and she just skyrocketed. But eventually she's going to come down and, she's going to disappear after a while. But usually girls come in the industry, same rate as I'm getting. It's crazy to me. But it just sucks because there's so many girls, there's so much competition that if you raise your rates too high, then people are like, well, I'll just go for the girl who does it for $800, or I'll just go for the girl who's willing to do it for $900. So it's kind of like you have to keep it at a certain level. Kind of everyone has to keep it at the same rate so that you continue to get booked.
I get it.
Sure. Now, is there a substantial difference in pay from the girls to the guys? I mean, do the guys get paid like jack shit in comparison to what you guys get paid?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It stinks because they do all the work.
Right.
Just lay there. I think I saw a short stint here on TV once with Jamie Jameson. There was a guy that asked her, how I could be a porn star. And she said that was one of the most common questions she got. All the guys think they could be a porn star. She basically said, well, if you think you could be a porn star, then go into a room full of 50 people, pull out your dick and start jerking off. If you can do that, then maybe you got a career in porns. But most guys, though, assume they could do it. But I think guys have more of a fear of being in front of all these people. Would you find that to be generally true, or?
Oh, yeah, 100%. She's exactly right, because I get it all the time. Like, oh, I have like an 8.5-inch dick, I can get it hard. And I'm like, okay, well, you can get it hard by yourself. But like I said, if you put a camera right near your ball, are you going to be able to get hard? Especially if it's a guy with a camera and then you have someone who's holding a water bottle and then you have a mic and all that crazy stuff. It takes a lot of endurance to be able to get your dick hard in front of everybody. And it kind of stinks people, the guys do get paid a lot less because they have to do a lot more, A lot of people in the industry have to take Viagra because they're not just doing one scene a day, they're doing 2 to 3 scenes a day, so they have to make sure they stay hard, or they take Viagra just to stay hard because it is nerve-wracking. I mean, we don't really get anything, hard. We can use lube if we don't get wet. It's like we have the easy job, but I do feel like a lot of guys in the industry don't get paid the amount they should. I think they should kind of get paid as much as we do because they're doing exactly what we're doing. But the only people that actually get paid as much as a girl does is like the famous one, like Tommy Gunn, or I'm trying to think of other ones. There's probably like 5 people in the industry that are guys that get paid as much or even more than a girl does because they're used all the time.
Yeah, that has to be so difficult. I mean, you got to think, like, if you're in the middle of a scene and then, somebody yells cut and then you got to go right back at it again, and then to have to get hard and go through everything all back, that has to be a real pain in the ass for the guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, completely. I mean, sometimes you can cut like 7 to 8 times within like a half hour like film just because something happens. You got to do this or you got to do that. And they cut, you're done. It's not like they just sit there and jerk off or you give them head until it's time to do it again. And then they just have to be able to get hard again or stay hard and then start fucking again.
Oh,
so it is hard for the guy, and I feel that. I mean, I do help, sometimes like if you cut, you have to get the guy hard again. Like, I don't want to sit there all day and wait for the guy to get hard, so yeah, I'm going to start giving him head so that we can get this show on the road. A lot of girls won't do it. A lot of girls won't do that. They'll just sit there and stare at him and be like, well, you got to get yourself hard. It's like, really?
Do you feel like the people... I'm assuming that the crew, they've been doing it for so long. Looking at a naked woman in front of them is just basically old school. It doesn't even really pique their interest that much anymore. I would imagine the only time you really get somebody staring a lot is somebody who's kind of new. So do you find that to be mostly true, or do you have any issues with the crew mostly, or?
I never have issues with the crew now that I'm thinking about it. Usually they're mostly all the same people when it comes to companies. Sometimes we'll have new people like, a PA or somebody who comes and gets water and stuff like that. But other than that, they don't really stare. They just they're told what they have to do. And again, when I'm in the scene, I don't really notice anybody around me. I kind of just am focused on the camera. Either if I have to look at the camera or I have to pretend the camera's not there, I just go at it. So whoever's staring at me or if someone's in the background staring at me, I don't even notice.
Okay. I've always kind of wondered, like, when you're going out, say you and your boyfriend, or you're just kind of going out, have, somebody staring at you, you can tell they're trying to pinpoint where they know you from. And you're kind of weirded out?
Yes. You know what I really like is the people that are from a far distance and they literally put their camera up and they're taking a photo of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like blatant. Like, oh, hey, look, I know who you are, but I'm taking a photo, but I'm not coming up to ask you if you would like your photo taken. I'm just going to take it at a distance.
Or maybe somebody's with their wife or somebody's with their girlfriend and they look at you and then they do a double take, or... Don't imagine.
Yeah, or they just stare at you. Like, you have that... They have this glare. Yeah, I know. I've dealt with it when I'm either in CVS or Walmart, or it's kind of like that awkward feeling because it's not like I dress up all the time looking like a porn star.
Mm-hmm.
So that to have somebody stare at me and then they're like, "God, you look familiar," and I'm just like, "Oh, I gotta go, bye."
My last question for you, Jackie, before we let you go, is what is one thing that a guy could do that would just completely turn you off? I mean, I know that there's a lot of questions out there as far as what could turn you on, but what is the one thing that could turn you off?
As a normal guy?
Yeah,
just a regular guy.
Yeah, like a misconception or something, but what's one thing that just drives you nuts? You just can't take it.
You could give us both if you want.
Yeah.
A normal guy.
And don't give us that sandy, warm, walks on the beach and sunsets and reading a good book. And what don't you like?
Who does that? Who does that?
That's not the point.
No guy ever does that. I hate, what I hate is guys who are so forward. Like, at the club stuff that I notice, like, guys will come up to me, just even if they don't know me, I just look like a hot girl, and they'll be really, really forward, like, let me buy you a drink, and how are you? Like, they automatically assume just because I'm a hot girl, I'm going to have sex with them. Like, they just start talking to you, and they don't let you go. It's like such a turn off. It's like, if you come up and you're nice, but you give me my face, and you kind of act like you're kind of hard to get, that's cool. I like that, because then I kind of, like, follow the leader. Like, if you're going to act hard to get, I'm going to chase after you kind of thing. But I get guys so many times that come up to me, and they're just like, hey, baby, how are you? Do you want a drink? Oh, you're so hot. What do you do? You know, what are you doing tonight? Like, oh, go away. That's not hot. Or they give you cheesy lines, too. Like, you know, people say that never happens. I get that all the fucking time. They'll just say stupid stuff, and you're just like, really? Does that work for you? Because it doesn't work for me.
Okay. Obviously, you have a boyfriend now, and you had one before that, but there was a point where you were single for a while. There were some guys out there that felt you very unapproachable. They just kind of looked like, maybe, I've always heard these stories where the women that said they were too beautiful, they felt like the guys just felt like they were too unapproachable, so they had a hard time, getting somebody to approach them. Obviously, your boyfriend that you have now, you said it was a friend of your previous boyfriend, so it's in a way you had a connection there already. But did you find it hard to bring up beyond that?
Yeah, you know what? It goes with guys and girls, too, because I have a lot of people that they say, when I'm all dressed up, they say that I have this, like, they say I have this aura that you can't come up and talk to me, that I'm not, like, really nice. And I'm like, after a while, people realize, like, once they start talking to me, I'm, like, the nicest person. Like, I'm not rude, I don't say mean things. But for some reason, people say I have this look, like, that you can't touch me. I'm just, like, beautiful, and I have, like, a bitchy look. And I'm just like, no, you can come up and talk to me. I'm nice. I smile.
Sure.
But I get it with both. I get it with guys, and I get it with girls, because girls won't come up and talk to me. They'll automatically, every girl that I've ever talked to, they said, yeah, when I first met you, I thought you were a bitch, because they didn't talk to me. They didn't even talk to me. They didn't even say hi to me. Just because of what I look like, they thought I was a bitch. I was like, really? Awesome.
I definitely can contest to the conversation we've been having for this last hour. You're a very outgoing, very nice person. We really appreciate you coming on the show. We'd love to have you back in the future.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I enjoyed it. I love doing things like this, and people don't think I do either. It's like this misconception with porn stars. There are girls out there that are rude, who do drugs, who make the porn industry look bad. Mm-hmm. But I try to make the porn industry look a lot better, because I want to be one of those people, like Lisa Ann, too. We both want these misconceptions to go away, so we try our hardest to make it not that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I think it's cool.
Okay, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it, Jack. All right, everybody, that was Jacky Joy. Like I said, she was just the best. Everybody should go to @Jacky Joy on Twitter and follow her.
Yeah, Zach. You know what's funny? I don't know if you feel the same way, but in everyday life, you just don't have a female talking about having cum on her face. So it was one of those deals where, like, I felt like I was blushing a little bit while she was talking, and I felt like a little, little fourth grade schoolboy there when she was talking about some of the thing, like like the interview question where I had to say the word sex. I'm sitting around going, should I actually say that? I
like you almost felt embarrassed to say it to her, but she has a way of putting you at ease.
You just don't want to disrespect any female, but then she comes out with all these words that you're like, oh my goodness, she just said blowjob. I'm pretty positive that she's open to anything at this point.
Like I said, everybody wants to follow her. You should go to @Jacky Joy. That's Twitter, by the way, @Jacky Joy. Go to our website at thestatementshow.com, or follow us on Twitter @StatementShow. That's @StatementShow.
And you know what, Zach? I just wanted to say something real quick. Believe me, when we first started doing the podcast, I knew nothing about Twitter, and now I get a lot of my breaking news through Twitter.
Oh,
so, we've spoken to a lot of people that Twitter, and they're sitting around, and I don't know about Twitter. I don't know. So don't be scared of Twitter. It's literally the easiest thing in the world. You go in, you sign up @Statement Show. Obviously, you follow us first.
Oh,
and then Jacky Joy.
Oh, sure.
And then. And I'm telling you right now, you will love it. You will be able to get all our breaking news when we're going to have our guest on. We're going to throw it out there. You'll be able to tweet us, email us, do whatever you need to do. Maybe your questions can get on the podcast. Feel free to contact us anytime. Like I say, we're gonna do our best to get the breaking news out there on any guest, on what we're planning on talking about. We've got so much going on, and feel free to tweet us anytime. We'll try to get back to you as quickly as we can.
Oh, sure. And we're lining up guests all the time, and we'll tweet them out there. And if you have questions for him, get it to us. Go to our website, thestatementshow.com, and send us an email at thestatementshow@gmail.com. All right, Terry, man, I think it's time to turn the lights out on another episode of The Statement Show.
That's right.
All right, everybody, next week.
See ya.
Zach what?
Chahi.
Chahi.
Like you're saying he, like put Che in front of it. Chahi. Yeah. Che. Oh, now we know why she's in the porn industry.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah. Damn these people. All right, so I think I'm ready.
All right. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Your mind is in the gutter. Come on now.
Real quick opinion from you. Geno's or Pat's? Which one should I go to?
None. Go to Tony's.
Really?
Tony
What is that?
Luke.
Tony Luke's up there. Okay, yeah. That's the spot?
Thanks for joining us at The Statement Show. If you like the show, go to our website at thestatementshow.com and click on one of our affiliates. Subscribe to our show at iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Also, check us out on Facebook and YouTube and at Twitter at Statement Show. For comments or concerns, or to be a guest on The Statement Show, email us at thestatementshow@gmail.com.